So today we're going to talk about the iconic turbo flutter sound that we all love. So let's see if it's good or bad for your turbos. The turbos make two types of sounds. So one is the iconic blow up sound, which is that one single push that you hear when you lift up the throttle. And second is when you partially lift up the throttle or when you completely lift up the throttle, you hear the turbo flutter sound, which is the right? So the second one is what we all love the most, which I love the most. But what actually happens is when the turbo gets spinning, right? Your exhaust gas spins the turbine behind, and then your compressed air gets into the turbo, and the air flows to the intercooler and pushes into the engine, right? So when you lift up the throttle, the air can no longer enter into the engine, and the air gets back into the turbo. So when you have a blow-off valve, it releases the pressure, and that's why you hear that one single push, that sound. So what happens is when you want to hear that turbo flutter, right? So people tighten the spring a little bit more and then they make it really hard. The diaphragm gets really strong over here and it doesn't let go of the air pressure at the right time. So at that time, because the air doesn't escape through this blow-off valve, it gets back to the turbo. The air gets chopped when it comes back and the turbine spins. That's why you hear that flutter sound, right? So that's the whole logic of how it happens. So this turbo can handle it because it has something called an anti-surge housing. So you have drilled holes over here. Sometimes you'll have slots. It depends on how the manufacturer would like to create and what type of noise it wants to create when the turbo gets into the phase of induction. So you'll have a small slit inside. So the turbo can actually circulate the compressed air that comes in. So this turbo is a stock Evo 9 turbo, one of my favorite turbos, 400 horsepower capable. I love it. But this turbo doesn't have this feature over here. So both these turbos, when you tighten the nut over here, can actually create the turbo flutter. This can handle it, this cannot handle it. Flutter is bad for your engine. So when it becomes really bad and when it is okay for these turbos. So when you have turbo flutter in partial throttles, it's completely okay. The turbos can handle it. But if you have turbo flutter when you're full on throttle, so you're pressing your throttle full, turbo is getting into full boost, but your engine is not able to take all the air into the intake manifold and its compression stroke. So your turbo feeds more air than what the engine can actually take in. So at that time, again, the air tries to get out of the compressor. This is a situation where the turbo tries to push air and also tries to get air outside. So that's most deteriorating to your turbos, irrespective of what turbos you run. It is going to break your turbo. Off throttle sound is completely fine. On throttle, such sounds, grab your tools, you're replacing a turbo. So I'm sure you're clear about what noises the turbos can create and how damaging or good it can be for your turbos. So you be the judge, you take the call of what setup you would like to drive, and you start modifying your car the way you like it.